Hey guys, it's me, Apollonia. Welcome back to my channel. So today I will be reviewing the book Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. I know about a year or two ago I did do a video on this, but at the time I had just rented the book from the library, and it wasn't my own physical copy, so I've had more time to go over it. And to actually show you different parts of the book. So that's what we'll be doing today. For those of us that believe in LOA, the law of attraction, we already know that, and accept and believe that certain thoughts and beliefs, will lead to dis-ease in the body, and then that will manifest. If you need physical proof or evidence of that, the closest person as of today that has done a tremendous amount of research on that subject and has tons of testimonials is Dr. Joe Dispenza. So I recommend to go check him out. And yeah, look at the testimonies out there. So, I was going to choose abdominal cramps, but that's going to lead to me talking about periods. So I'm going to go with something else. Allergies. So a possible, probable cause to having allergies. Who are you allergic to? Denying your own power. So, what's funny? I had allergies when I was younger. And it was when I lived with my grandmother and different foster homes. And I was just, always in a situation where I was being gaslighted or projected onto or deflected onto. And, thinking about that, that does make sense because I felt like I had no power in the situation. And you kind of don't when you're a kid, you're socially dependent. So what can you do until you grow up? And who was I allergic to? I was allergic to my grandmother and to the other, unhealthy, dysfunctional, toxic foster care people that I lived with. So that makes sense to me. And now that, I've been on my own, allergies disappeared. Okay. All right. Next one, asthma. Okay, this is a big one. I had this too when I was younger. Possible reason for it: smother love, inability to breathe for oneself, feeling stifled, suppressed, crying. So I had it when I was about 7 to 8 years old. And I remember I felt like I couldn't breathe. I think this goes into more depth of wanting to die too. Like that, if you think about asthma, what it is just like can't control your breathing. It's like you're in fear and you're thinking of the worst case scenario and you feel out of power and out of control. And that suppressed crying, yeah, I remember doing that when I was like 7 or 8. I would just not cry because I wasn't allowed to, which is the worst thing that adults can teach you. I mean, there's this one movie, I think that was Water for Chocolate, where she's like, no more than one tear, no more than one tear. And I'm just like, that's fucking terrible. Like, to me, it's a natural release to the universe to cry. Okay, I'm not saying you have to be vulnerable in front of the entire world, but go home and get it out, vent. I wouldn't hold it in. Anything that you resist will persist, and it leads to insomnia and, just being unhappy in life. And we'll get into another video about insomnia. Whew, man, have I had my struggle with that in the past. And okay, so asthma. And then maybe you guys can see it here. I should show you. You can see that pretty well. I could also post pictures after of them. Okay, let's see, what else do we got here? Blackheads. Small outbursts of anger. I actually had one here when I was like 18. And it so big it left a scar there, so I don't want to show that. But and I 100% agree with that statement that it's outbursts of anger, because at that time I was aging out of foster care. I was lost. I was angry, with the childhood, my domestication that I had, how much healing I needed to do, how much help I needed, and there was nowhere to go, nobody to turn to. And I was just sick of being so independent. I guess I couldn't admit that to myself at the time. So then, yeah, I had blackheads. That was right when I was graduating high school. Alrighty. Let's see. La da 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 da. Breast problems. So for females here, obviously, a refusal to nourish the self, putting everyone else first, over mothering, over protection, overbearing attitudes. So this one depends to me, because I think from a lot of what I see of today, of any female having any kind of feminine problem manifests in their body, it's their resistance to their own femininity. Unfortunately, in this world of having to have defended ourselves, for centuries, not from every man, but from a good majority, and having to prove, that we could vote or that we should be equal. And, we've gone so far from coming into our feminine power. Another topic for another video. I didn't mean for this to go actually into so many female topics, but we'll go back to some other ones in a bit. But such a resistance to our own feminine power that a lot of us went into masculine power instead of owning femininity. And it's like, what does that really mean? I think it comes down to wisdom and yes, love, and many other things. So that's a topic for another video. But I think any feminine issue, point being, has to do with resisting your own femininity. And a lot of women who had like mothers that were maybe super feminine and were taken advantage of are probably really going to own their masculine power. Because remember, we all have polarity. But obviously not really good to go too far into what is more unnatural for either sex. This goes for gays too. So let's see here. What I mean by that is like, okay, like if you're, a gay man, then yeah, it's probably more natural for you to be more feminine. And then you have the ones that are more masculine. So you choose whichever one is more natural for you and, embrace that. Let's see. So what I would recommend for that is Teal Swan's completion process for any of this, all of this. I think I'm going to be coming up with my own technique because I've really been thinking about her technique and I think it's really good. But I think I could add more to it because you know what? The whole point of the completion process is that, you go and heal that original trauma, but we still get trauma later. If you think about it, it's like, well, just because like maybe I fell down and got, a scar from way back then, like off a mountain, and then I healed from that, then today I might break my leg. I mean, then you gotta heal again. So it only makes sense that you're continuously healing throughout your life. So there's more that I want to add to that because I don't think it just ends with the first traumatic experience. I think it also goes with I think I'm gonna do it like 2 bookends. Go with the first, go with the most recent to do healing. So that'll be another video. Alrighty. Cancer. Okay, so deep hurt, long-standing resentment, deep secret or grief eating away at the self, carrying hatreds. What's the use? So this is very, very interesting for me. My little brother was born with cancer, and you think, how does that happen to a child, right? They haven't even lived. So we have to remember how important it is for a woman to be in a good and healthy place when she's carrying a child. Obviously, there's pre-womb trauma, and I really recommend that you check out the video of Teal Swan. She has womb healing, and I think I'm going to do my own too. But yeah, I mean, the moment that we're in our mother's, bellies, we were already not 100% exposed to the physical world. I mean, that's why all babies cry when they come out, because whew, man, then they feel like, the contrast of, wow, there's pain in this world automatically. That's why babies cry. But with cancer, so my mom, it makes sense to me that my brother would have been born with it, because she saying, what's the use, you know, deep hurt. She didn't do, I mean, a lot of people have children without doing healing from their own domestication, or not aware of it. That's the problem with this planet. And that's what something that irritates me so much is babies having babies. You know, it's like, have the consciousness that, oh, maybe you're not, you know, fit enough to have a child yet. Maybe you yourself need to do healing. And she came from a traumatic past to just have winged it and to have had kids. Like, I don't know, did she think like she would just heal on the way? It doesn't work like that, you know? And then your children have to end up healing from you. Talk for another video. But my point being is that the way she felt, she was angry. She didn't actually want kids. She was planning to use them as she gets, you know, got older, which has not worked out for her very well, so that she could have benefits and be taken care of, you know, just not an altruistic motive. But what it comes down to is just not, so with cancer, it could be a lot of things. So that's one example. And I know a man, so he was older, and he became this, he's a CEO of Morgan Stanley in Beverly Hills. And he, you know, has been there like most of his life and made a lot of money, but I see like a lot of regret in his eyes, and it was just for money. And even with me when I was younger, he would tell me, don't go after acting, don't go after performing, don't do this, you know, it's not going to be stable. And to me, with one of the things that cancer is like, you have so many things that you haven't done that you wish that you could have done. It's like your body giving you this last and final chance, and it depends on what cancer. But for him, I believe that, I forget the name of the cancer that he had, but I know for him it was that he never lived his life purpose. Now in his 60s, all of a sudden to manifest cancer was like, here you go. You know, your body's actually trying to help you in its loving way. Of, you know, okay, you didn't do this, you didn't go after your dream, you didn't live your purpose. Now you better do it now or you'll literally die. Yeah, so that's one and two examples for cancer. Canker sores. Okay, I had this not too long ago after my wisdom teeth removal. Festering words held back by the lips. Blame. So I could see this. I was so angry if you saw my last video. But I was blaming them, and yeah, I know it was co-creation, you know, I was a manifestation of me actually not wanting to go back to work. Now that I look at it from another perspective, and later on, I was a little afraid to, I was like overthinking it, and now I've enjoyed going back to work. And then it was me and co-creation with this guy who actually doubts his abilities as a surgeon that came together and manifested leaving the freaking tooth root in there, and that whole, you know, list of shenanigans that happened, which you could check out my previous video if you want to know about that. What else do we have here? Car sickness. Okay, I get this every now and then. Possible cause, fear, bondage, feeling of being trapped. Okay, I do agree with that. It's like, I do feel trapped if I'm the passenger. I do get car sick. I have to be in control. It's something I have to work on because I still get car sickness. And it is fear. It's fear of anything happening. So that one's pretty easy for me to understand. Let's see here. Oh, that's interesting. Cramps. I'll do, okay, astigmatism in your eye. I'm doing ones that I can relate with. Eye, probable cause, eye trouble, fear of really seeing the self. Possible affirmation for it, I am now willing to see my own beauty and magnificence. I could see that. I could say that I've always struggled with, I know how powerful I can be. I know how, you know, like, I don't want to brag about myself, but, you know, when it comes to my music and writing songs and just who I am as a being, I know that many, many people have been very, very jealous of me in the past, even my own mother and grandmother included. So it's like I felt that, you know, all of us want to be loved and accepted. So, like, I had to diminish my power and diminish my abilities and make myself less so that they could feel better, although it shouldn't work that way. So, I've had to do a lot of healing with that. And actually, the stigmatism is not as bad as it used to be, which, if you guys don't know what that is, it's like, it bends the lines and lights kind of weird, so you can't really see too clearly. Which does make sense to me. It's like, oh, I don't really want to see my magnificence and how great I am, and you know, and I gotta be smaller for everybody else. So yeah, if you could imagine that. La da da dum. And you could take your own feeling of what it could mean. Like, I would always tune into your body if you're having an issue, you know, and see it as its own personal need. Like, oh, you're having cramps, or oh, you know, you're having a headache, or oh, you have cancer, or oh, you have back pain, and talk to it like it's its own essence and energy. Really talk to it. Overweight. Ooh, there are so many reasons for this one. Oversensitivity often represents fear and shows a need for protection. Fear may be a cover for hidden anger and resistance to forgive. There are so many reasons why somebody can be overweight. And I know, no, it does not come down to food or really so much your genes. If you look at it, you can have two people from the same family, even twins, that could look dramatically different. So it's all here. If you, so, okay, where do I start with this? So the biggest thing that I see, and I've explained this before, is like with women, right? If a woman was raped or molested, a very strong coping mechanism is to gain weight as a barrier for protection, to feel less attractive, so that they may not be raped or molested, and maybe that won't happen to them ever again. If you look at a lot of bigger women, most of the time, and I mean big, it comes down to this. I can't tell you how many women I've come across, and it was it was dad, or it was a brother's really disgusting, or, you know, a friend of the family, or somebody, you know, my own mom, that, and my grandma and my great grandma and my great great grandma, all happened to them either by their fathers or by somebody else, and which I know now was my purpose to come into this family line to heal that. Um, but which I can explain how to do in another video, which is very, very powerful. And you could be visited by ancestors when you do it, if you're open, okay? If you want to open to spirits and that. So that's a possible one. Also, another one I see a lot is like carrying so much weight for the family, like literally, like just feeling like you're like the anchor and you have to be the support system for your parents or for the family. And you feel so stressed out, and then that physically manifests as to having that barrier. But there are so many reasons. If you want to know more about that, I really suggest checking out again The Wonderful Teal Swan about weight. I could go into that again in further detail in another video. Okay. Fatigue, resistance, boredom, lack of love for what one does. So if you, this is going to go into the video of insomnia. This will be the last one that I review. So with fatigue, if you think about it, like, so we have two perspectives on this planet, right? We have the physical one and the non-physical one. And the non-physical one had chosen your life path, your genes, your parents, and all of that, so that you could then, when you experience the contrast, which is what your parents naturally serve to be the contrasting footprint, then you would know, oh my gosh, this is my life purpose. And then you would line up with it and go in the direction of that. And then you would feel the essence and the love for what you do. But when you don't, then that means that you're, you know, off the path, and that you're not going with the flow, and you're going to have a hard time sleeping at night. So that, you're going to be tired because you know, for example, like say you work this minimum wage job that you hate and you don't want to be there. And that's your physical self is like, I have to do this. I have to do this to make money. And then me and the serving jobs I've done. And then your non-physical self says, no, you know, we could create a YouTube channel and become really well known, or we could, you know, go and become, you know, a well-known salesman and make our own business, or, you know, a list of things. And you say, no, I have to do this to build my money. And then you go in this tug of war. So then you can't fall asleep, and that contributes to the fatigue. Just not having, you know, not being passionate about what you do. You have to be passionate about what you do. And then we'll go into positive insomnia and negative insomnia. Like I think of Lady Gaga. I think of Lady Gaga with this, like, there's so much in my mind right now. She would stay up for like hours rehearsing for performances when she first started. Like she would only sleep 2 or 3 hours, but it's different. She had the energy and the love for what she does flowing through her, so she wasn't tired, you know. But if you're doing something you hate, you don't want to be doing, you're going to be exhausted. I mean, just think about it. Like how many times in school when you were studying like math or a subject that you hate, I hate math, and you had to put so much energy into it compared to something that you love to do, how much easier that was, right? All right, guys. So that's it for today. I could ramble on and on. Y'all know that. You want to check out the book, again, it's called Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.